Hello, I'm Bill LuMaye, and thank you for watching Community Matters. We hope you'll continue to watch as we discuss issues facing our community and provide you with the resources and information needed to find solutions. Today we're discussing Gipson Play Plaza, an exciting public space made for all ages, which started development in 2020, and it's set to open this summer. Lauren Danforth and Anna Golden-Torres are both here to tell us all about it. And to both of you, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us.
I always start with getting to know you a little bit.
Sure.
Lauren, you want to start first? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I moved to Raleigh in 2018 and started with Dix Park at that time. So I worked for the City of Raleigh in the Parks Department, specifically with Dix Park, and I help manage our communications and marketing, kind of telling the community everything we've got going on and how they can get involved.
And Anna, how about you?
Yeah, I've lived in Raleigh since 1996, so as close to a Raleigh I feel like these days. And I joined the Conservancy in 2023, now coming up on 2 years, and I'm Lauren's counterpart at the Conservancy, so I head up marketing and communications for the Dix Park Conservancy.
Well, I know Dorothea Dix Park, what a beautiful piece of property. And I remember when Raleigh acquired it and all the hoopla around it, and I know people have been pretty anxious to see something happen out there. And we're going to talk about that. Before we do that, how did the two of you hook up, and what is it that you both do for what this project is going to be?
Sure, yeah. So, you know, the Conservancy is a private partner to the city, to Dix Park. So, you know, Lauren and I are kind of in lockstep every single day. The partnership, you know, the city owns and operates the park. You know, Lauren and I have to be kind of in alignment with, you know, how we're talking about what Lauren is going to be, knows a lot more about the ins and outs of, you know, the programming, and she helps me stay informed on the city projects and vice versa. So, you know, it's a really critical partnership. And it's really great that we have such a great working relationship because, you know, we're both small teams.
And it's a pretty big project, isn't it?
It's a huge project, yeah. I think Anna hit on it. We have really small teams and we do a lot of work. So we have park planners on our teams who are doing a lot of the big development projects or small projects as well, creating the park. We have a team of programmers who do all the amazing events and programs out at the park that people get to come to for free. And then we also have a team of operations and grounds maintenance. And so all those folks work together. And a lot of that is a city side of the work that we do, but we couldn't do any of it without our Conservancy partners because they bring the community support and donations that fund a lot of what we do, especially our free programs and events that we get to hold, and help fund some of the big projects as well. So it's a really great partnership that helps make the park possible and into the future.
All right, I don't know how many people know about it. I know it's been out there for a while, and we'll get into that, but why don't you tell us what this project is? And I know it's going to be opening in the next few months. So what can people expect? What is the Gipson Play Plaza?
So I guess at its essence, Gipson Play Plaza is the first major project to be developed at the park coming out of the vision of the master plan. So culminating in 2019, the community came up with a very long-term, very aspirational vision for Dix Park. And this project was picked as the first thing to do to kind of show the community what we mean when we say this is going to be an amazing amenity for Raleigh and beyond. And it's going to be a little of everything, which is what's very exciting. So big, huge adventure play areas, a large grand civic plaza. There's a historic house that's redeveloped that's going to have the first concessions in the park so folks can get a bite to eat and a drink while they're there. Beautiful gardens. It's just going to be amazing.
Now, I often wondered if I could design a park. I wouldn't know where to begin. Now, you guys started in, I think it was 2020, right? What was that like? Because that was also, if I remember right, that's like the COVID years and all that got worked into. How do you deal with that? How do you get going?
It was a really interesting time to start a large project like this. We do a lot of community engagement being a public park. And so Michael Van Valkenburg Associates was selected as the lead team to lead the design process. They're out of Brooklyn, New York. They led the master plan process. They have done amazing parks all across the country and around the world. And so we did a lot of virtual engagement. We did virtual community meetings where folks could sign in and ask questions to the design team. They could submit feedback through surveys. So it was a really interesting way to do community engagement in that first year. But it did culminate in some really great in-person tours on site where we could gather feedback, and a huge big community meeting at the end, which was our big design reveal in 2021. And we had hundreds of people come, this huge large-scale model of the vision that the community had helped us create kind of come to life.
Well, I'm just curious as to where did this idea even come from? Now, you said there was this grand master plan, and this one, who gets credit for thinking it up? Is it the guys you hired, or is it one of you two? I want to know.
Wow, I would totally take credit if possible,
I would
but
too.
that is definitely
If you're not going to do it, I'm going to take credit.
I would say it's both. It was a huge community process, that master plan. We had over 65,000 people engage in that process over the 2 years. So I would say the lead designers, Michael Van Valkenburg, a lot of this comes from their just imagination and what they aspire to be in community places. But the Raleigh community gave the input. They said what they wanted to see. They said what they were missing in their community and what they saw for their future. So it was definitely a community process.
And the MVVA, the landscape architecture firm, part of their selection, I remember Mayor McFarland saying, was their approach to working with the public. That was kind of one of the deciding factors of how much they considered the importance of the site and the historical relevance of the site, and how much it meant to the people in Raleigh in North Carolina. And were really impressed with, the selection community was really impressed with their approach to that public engagement piece.
Well, that must have been important, especially from your perspective, if you're trying to get the Raleigh, the folks who want to support it financially.
Yeah.
How has that been? I'm just curious. How has it been received? Just the park itself and the support you're getting.
It's really amazing. I've been at the Conservancy for about 2 years, and I've lived in Raleigh, effectively all my life. And one of the things that really was amazing to me when I first got here was just how much people were passionate about this project. The Conservancy's only been around for just about 10 years, just under 10 years. And, seeing how willing people are to not just donate, funding, but also their time. Like, we have some really dedicated volunteers, not just, volunteers out there mulching, but also volunteers on the various committees in our board. So I would say that for the most part, it's been, I wouldn't say easy, but inspiring to see how dedicated people really are to this project and how excited they are, because Raleigh really hasn't had an attraction of this scale, a public attraction, amenity of this scale quite yet.
No, they haven't, and there's a lot of us who've been just so excited to see that eventually come to fruition. So we're gonna come back. We've got a lot more to talk about, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Today we're discussing Gipson Play Plaza. We're back with Lauren and Anna, and to both of you, I'm very excited about this. I know a lot of people are going to be. First question that always comes up with a lot of people, especially when it's a public park, is how is it funded?
Yeah, sure, I can take that. It's a combination of private and public dollars. So the major funding for the project came out of the Raleigh Parks 2022 Parks Bond that was approved by the residents of Raleigh at about 73%, I think, voted yes in favor of that Parks Bond, which is amazing. So that funded projects all across the city, but a lot of funding for Gipson Play Plaza. And then it also had private dollars as well.
Yeah, so in the name, the Gipson Play Plaza, you might have seen that name floating around Raleigh. We had a $10 million lead gift from the Gipson family, which we're really thankful for. The Gipsons are really committed to the park. They're on our board, and they really helped make this happen.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, let's talk about this park now. How big is it going to be?
So the Gipson Play Plaza site is 18.5 acres. Dix Park as a whole is 308 acres, so this is a good chunk, but obviously lots more park to go. But it fits really seamlessly into some of the really beautiful sides of the park down into the Grove area.
Now, when you talk about designing something like this, I know there's different phases of that, and without getting into the technicalities of it, let's get right to the fun stuff if we could. I mean, I'm going to go to the park. Well, what am I going to see? What's going to be there? What can I do?
Yeah, so again, 18.5 acres, there's something for everyone, right? So one of the first things people will notice is the adventure play areas. So we have these really beautiful play towers designed by a company called Richter Spielgrade, who makes really beautiful playgrounds. And it's these wooden towers, these beautiful towers that you have like a skywalk. The first floor is ADA accessible for all children to be able to play in. And there's also, in the hot summers, we'll be opening up right when it's getting a little warm. We have a Watermill Mountain, which that same company, Richter, came here, visited, saw the Yates Mill over there, and loved it, and decided that they wanted to build a miniature replica for our play area. So we'll have an interactive water feature for the kids. I know that a lot of people are always asking us about concessions. Where can I get some food? Where can we get something to drink? So the city has beautifully restored a 100-plus-year-old home, lovingly named the House of Many Porches, because it has a big wraparound porch, and which used to be a dormitory for staff working at the hospital. And that'll have we'll have some retail, be able to grab a bite. There will be beer and wine, snacks for the kids. So that's
you do have it all covered. For
we
Mom
do
and
have it all
Dad and
covered.
the kids. They're all
and then
gonna be
and then you
happy.
can grab your food and go over to the picnic area, to the picnic grove, or go relax.
Well, what's the Grand Plaza? What do you envision there? What's going to happen?
Yeah, so it's about a half-acre Grand Plaza, so we're talking big. So it
Yeah.
can kind of hold all kinds of different civic events. We could do performances there. You can have a stage. There's a grand stair that comes out of the plaza, and so that kind of makes a nice amphitheater seating. Every day we'll have cafe tables and benches for people to just spread out and enjoy, but it'll be able to host all sorts of things. So maybe movie nights, maybe some music concerts, small things. Maybe in the future people could rent out and have events there. We're not going to do that in the beginning, but I think that's kind of future plan, is we want people to be able to use the space in all different ways.
I know you have things that are maybe a little more tame, like Picnic Grove, but that could be fun. So what is that? I mean, is it just to give somebody a blanket, or what's going on
It
there?
is 22 picnic tables and benches that were custom made from reclaimed wood, trees that were felled on Dix Park either through storms or through projects when trees had to be removed. That wood was reclaimed. A company in town called Raleigh Reclaimed created these beautiful custom picnic tables. So we've got seating for about 200. We've got lovely string lights above that, shade sails, and there's grills. So people will be able to come, just plop down with your family, or bring a whole bunch of folks and have a birthday party and cook out. It's gonna be a really cool gathering space.
Now, I know there are other things. I'm just curious, the project for the community, you said initially that, it's kind of a big deal. I mean, the community has been kind of waiting on this. I mean, why do you suppose that is? And how do you think this is going to play when they finally see it unveiled?
I think people are going to be wowed. Yeah. I don't think that folks really have an idea of the scale of the material and the just beauty of the space, as well as the fun. I think some folks think, oh yeah, they're building a good, cool playground, or they're building this really pretty plaza space. But I think when folks get there and they see it, they see all this beautiful stone, and we've planted over 1,000 trees and all of this plant material, I think folks are just going to be wowed. I think the expectation's just going to be blown out of the water. I'm
think
excited.
You're probably right about that. We got one more segment. Please don't go anywhere. Don't you go anywhere either. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're back with Lauren and Anna to discuss what the future holds for Gipson Play Plaza. I'm pretty excited about it, and I know the folks that are watching are probably getting geared up for it, and it's not that far away from the grand opening. There were a couple of other items, though, on the list of things that are going to be part of this plaza. One was that sensory maze. Now, I have no idea what that might be. What is that?
So the sensory maze is going to be a little bit quieter side of play. It is a hedge labyrinth, so green, kind of you get to meander through, and then there are interactive elements to engage all the senses. So there's like an infinity alley, which will be a bunch of mirrors. There's fun little whimsical creatures kind of hidden throughout to find, musical instruments to play. It's all graded at an ADA pathway size and gravel, so everyone will be able to enjoy it and interact with it. There's benches to relax. It's going to be really cool.
Now, this is basically 20 acres out of, what was it, 320 acres?
308 acres is Dix Park. Yeah.
When you look at this, is this just one piece of the puzzle? I mean, for people who have been waiting for a grand unveiling of Dorothea Dix, this is the beginning. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, this is the first 20 acres, the first big phase delivery of the master plan. And it's our first proof point to the public of like, this is going to be amazing. That we're really excited for the Play Plaza, but this is just the beginning. Right now, not all 308 acres are going to be completely hardscape to design. We got a lot of space, a lot of green space. But this is our first proof point, I think, us like, hey, we're building something great, and here you go. Here's the first taste of it.
Yeah. Now, I'll just get into some of the real basic stuff because I'm going to go. What are the hours of operation? I mean, and how much does it cost?
Well, I think the best part about Dix Park in general and Gipson Play Plaza is it's free. It's free to everyone to enjoy. Yeah. It's a public park and no entrance fees. I mean, if you want to purchase food and drinks, you can do that, but otherwise everyone's able to come and enjoy it. We're really excited about that. And hours of operations are also kind of interesting. So most city parks are open dawn until dusk unless there's an event going on. But Gipson Play Plaza is going to be open into the evening. So when we first open, we'll be in kind of summer hours and it'll be open until 9 p.m. So we've got lighting all throughout and concessions will be open that late. And so folks can come in the evening. So it gives people, again, something free to do later into their day.
Yeah, now this is something you go and you hang out for an hour and you go, oh, that's enough, let's get out of here. Can you spend a whole day? It sounds like it's big enough you could spend the whole day.
Absolutely, and don't let the name Play Plaza fool you. It's for kids of all ages.
Oh, now did you see that smile? I'm intrigued. The grand opening, I know it's within the next few months. So what do you envision for that? I mean, do we have a spectacular grand opening event in mind?
We do.
We absolutely do, yeah. So it'll be a full weekend. It'll be our first big open weekend. Fences coming down from construction and people invited in. We'll probably do a ribbon cutting type event on a Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, just all day. All kinds of really great programming and music. There'll be tons of food. We'll bring in a bunch of extra food trucks. And then, maybe a special surprise later in the evening. So it'll be a really exciting event.
There's the little smile and now this little cliffhanger. We're going to have to wait and see, it sounds like. So as you look back now, you've been involved in this for 5 years, or almost. How are you feeling about it all? Looking over your shoulder, was it an easy process, a hard process? Are you happy with it thus far?
I think most processes have times that feel really difficult and hard, and then other pieces that feel like they just fall right into place and are really great. Again, I think Anna kind of touched on the people have been so excited about Dix Park and want to be involved and want to be engaged and lend their ideas and their feedback and their support and their time. And so I think that almost makes our job a little bit easier because people are they want it and they're excited. And so I always think that's one of the pieces I really love about doing this is that it's for the community, but it's also by the community. And so I think that makes it easy. Construction projects, obviously, can be a little sticky here and there. But it's also been a great process. Our teams out there working have done an amazing job. The design team did an amazing job. So we're just really ready to show the community what's been in the works for so long.
I bet that is. Aren't you a little sad, though? Now you're coming to the end of this big project.
We have plenty more projects to go.
I bet you do. Yeah. How can the folks find out more now that we've piqued their interest? How can they get more info on it?
Of course. You can go to dixpark.org. We've got all kinds of visitor information. You can learn about the park or Gipson Play Plaza that's still in progress. And then we will be unleashing information on all the exciting things people can come and see there, as well as grand opening dates announced soon.
Oh, you made it exciting. Thank you guys for spending some time with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you, as always, for watching. We hope you've enjoyed today's show. If you have any questions or would like to know more about this event or any other event, visit our website at RaleighCW.com and myrdctv.com. I'm Bill LuMaye. Thank you for watching Community Matters, and we'll see you next week.